There we go. Now I can see Facebook on my laptop. Oh wow, it's got closed caption, huh? I don't know about YouTube, if you can see it or not. So, as I was saying, this is the perhaps a new channel I'll do called Tabasco's Bulletproof Transport. Hot shotting. But my lights on. So it seems like I've been on the road for about 2 days. I don't know. It's supposed to be an 8.5 hour trip to New Orleans. But I swear to God, I've been on the road for like 2 days. Started out a real pain in the ass because I went and picked up a car. What's that say? Watch the road. Um, Last night, I went down to Largo, picked up a car. Well, went to pick up a car with the flatbed. That I bought a 32-foot flatbed, and turns out that even with the 8-foot ramps, a low-profile BMW 530i won't go on the damn trailer because the pitch is too steep. Hope I'm not getting lost here. I should be staying on 10 for like 175 more miles. But so we went clear down there, about an hour and a half, and it's down this like side road off 19, and it's like a dead end. I got a 32-foot gooseneck flatbed. Finally found the car, finally found the keys, finally went to bring it up, and I got about most of the way up the ramp until the front tires got on the deck, and then about a foot behind the front tires, it was going to start to scrape. So I had to back it down, repark it, lock it up, put the keys back. Then I was talking to the transport company on the phone. And I said, well, I can go home and get, I'm committed once I say I'm going to do something. So I said, I can go home and get the single car hauler, which is really ideal for a situation like this. It's not ideal is the fact that I'll be clear over New Orleans without my flat deck, which you can make more money at because you can haul more than one load for customers. I can do two or sometimes even three. So you're getting paid 3 times for the same travel. But really, the way to transport these single cars is in this 29-foot. It's actually a river forest or forest river. I can't remember. Um, Kind of like a race or ATV, whatever. So it's a toy hauler, but it'll haul like 5,000 pounds of payload. So you can put a car in it, 17 feet. So mostly mid-sized cars, mid-sized SUV, on down. Now, if I'd have had a truck or an SUV to pick up, it would have went. It probably would have went on the flat deck. But all right, where in the hell's that? What the hell am I doing here? 28, 29, 29. I don't want to go on 29. Because it would have cleared that fulcrum, I think they call that. But I didn't. So time I got back down there, we thought that was a restaurant at the end of that little road right there, right on 19. And turns out it's a country western bar. So by the time we got down there, it was about 300 cars down that little side road on both sides, uh, blocking the hell out of everything. Of course, the lot I was trying to get to was cleared down at the end. And I had this 29-foot box with me, so I pulled down there and then wrangled around. Oh, then it just started pouring down rain on top of it. So, but anyway, we got her done. We picked it up, got her down there, got loaded up. Took about 2.5 hours, longer than it should have. Took her home about 4 o'clock in the morning. The kid kind of dozed off in my chair, which I do occasionally, but not a whole lot. And then I had to leave this morning to go to take the car on over to New Orleans, and it feels like I've been on the road for about 3 days. But do a podcast style or there's not enough time in a day to get everything done. So, because there are a lot of people that are interested and watch just for hot shotting, which is just shipping on a smaller scale, like that Shipping Wars I think show that used to be on or something like that, which is basically the way it is on at the bottom of the pyramid there, because they don't you kind of like running an eBay where the customer wants to, they think that you can ship a hamster from Tulsa to you know to Tampa for $40, and it's seriously, they're like offering move a dresser for $300 to Maine from like Orlando, and it's like, yeah, I don't think so. And you can try to stack loads, but you're not guaranteed to get them. Now we took a car to New Jersey a week or so ago, and I was able to at least book a large golf cart type thing from Myrtle Beach to Ormond Beach on the way back, which basically just covered the fuel costs, and that's just not the way to do it. So I'm going to share some of the hot shotting stuff and my trials and tribulations with people so that maybe they can avoid that. And I do spend a lot of time online trying to learn who's that. I hope I make it to the NFL one day. Yeah, absolutely. Should be the quarterback sack. It's hard to read that on the phone from this distance, and got all these idiots flying all around me everywhere. So one of the trials and tribulations of the 29 footer. See, I thought I was going to park the 29 footer for a while because I sadly discovered that compared to probably in the 1970s or 60s, it's just gone ridiculous. They make it so freaking confusing. I got lucky because it can take up to 30 days to get your authority. Oh, this is fun. Oh, I love construction when you're hauling these. But and the mass confusion and six, help desk. God bless America. The six help desk tickets I had open. I happened to get a local guy. He lived in Kentucky, but he grew up in Brooksville, and so we kind of got through my third revision of one of the mandatory forms. And I was like, man, this keeps putting me back. It said it could be another 30 days, and he said, oh no, he goes, I'll have your authority approved by tomorrow. So I got lucky on that one. So on the way up to Jersey, when we went up, was it on the way up or back? No, I think it was on the way back. I hit this big old, like a 4-foot divot in the highway on 95, right where it should be. It's a giant pothole, and I heard this bang. I was like, "What the hell was that?" And I had a good brother with me, and he was from up there, and he was like, "I don't know." So we pulled off about 2 miles later. It turned out the 7-way plug had popped out, and then I just drug it for 2 miles, so it just shredded it. And that was right about right now. Time is like just at dark, and I still had 3.5 hours or 3 hours to go to get to Myrtle Beach to pick up the second leg, so that would pay for the fuel. So I wasn't a happy camper, as you well could assume, because it also blew all the relays and the fuses, the square fuses, which I didn't even know they made square fuses. And this truck's a 2011. I've had it since 15 and didn't even know that fuse box under the hood was there. But anyway, I still haven't got my brakes back because it took me 3 days to figure out how to wire the damn thing, because whoever wired the trailer must have been colorblind, but they just used whatever color they felt like using. So I had to go pin by pin to figure out which was which. But for some reason, I'm not getting brakes, which I still haven't figured it out. I'm usually pretty astute at those things, but so that was just one of the joys of the trip. Well, then we got back, and I just gutted and remodeled this trailer because like everything I buy, it's a piece of shit. Somebody else's shit. You don't ever get to buy new. We always buy other people's shit. Save $1 and spend $3 fixing it. So I gutted it, and I had to, man. It was just dry rotted to hell. All the walls were like plywood, and it's just a fiberboard on the outside. These things are made out of spit, vinegar, stripper, glitter, and unicorn dust. And so I put all treated lumber in it and just redid the entire cargo space. One being a sort of a toy hauler is that you have the first 6 feet of it is bathroom, shower, shitter, sink, all that, which is kind of cool. Now it has a bed in it, but the bed was too big to fit to move forward. If you have it in the ceiling height, to be able to get like an SUV in. So my brother Hammer built a bunk bed that comes apart really easy, full of like 2 rails or 3 cross members and 2 rails, and the plywood interlocks really cool. So the only problem with it was my fat ass couldn't get up on it. I had a hell of a time. I had to put a toolbox on top of a footstool to get up on the damn thing. And I roll over and my shoulder was hitting the ceiling, so I need to lower it just a little bit. But it works out so that when you pull a car in, that the bed is over top of the hood of the car, so I can get the 17 feet of cargo space that's available, which is pretty standard for most vehicles, and for midsize. And then the bed goes over the hood, so you can have somewhere to stretch out, which is kind of important. But I parked it, and then I stripped the roof sealant off of it because I figured I wasn't going to use it until my authority matures, which takes like 6 months. Because they don't tell you this going in, but most transport companies, a lot of them aren't gonna touch you, even though you've got $1 million insurance, even though you've got $100,000 in cargo insurance, and you're paying $1,000 a month for insurance. They're going to basically try to take advantage of you, like everyone does in this country, for the first 6 months, and they're going to try to spit out 80 cents a mile, 90 cents a mile, 36 cents a mile. I mean, so you can't make any money. But here the thing is like 6 months in one day, all of a sudden magically you become qualified. Now you could have sat in your ass the first 6 months and hardly got any loads, but that's okay. You don't need to practice because at 6 months in one day, you're a freight relocation engineer, and there you go. And then at 9 months, you get some more of the bigger boys, and at 1 year, you pretty much write your own ticket. So, and again, it wasn't anything I ever. Oh, I only got 149 miles to go. Sweet. Wasn't anything I ever anticipated doing. My buddy Slim used to live across the street from me. He's a really shitty neighbor. Yeah, he was a freight relocation engineer. We once drank for 186 days straight. It's actually a true story, but that was a long time ago. But anyway, so we got the Jersey thing out of the way. I only lost about $106 on that trip because of the amount of crap I bought for wiring to try to fix the damn lights. So I mean, shit happens, and it's always going to happen to me if it happens. So like going down there and picking up that car last night, and nope, it won't load on the flatbed. So I go 3 hours round trip to go back down there. And like I said, then there's 350 cars and a bunch of drunk cowboys and cowgirls, basically rednecks in Pasco County, that were in the way. Parked all the way down both sides of that dead end street, so I could barely squeeze through with this trailer. And then this chick's like, "Well, "This is a fine time for you to do that." Like, shut up, you drunk bitch. Go home or get you in a DUI. But we got it because that's what we do. We do things. You're gonna go. Probably I'm gonna be like I don't know, blocks away from the French Quarter. I am Tabasco, by the way, But hauling a 29-foot box trailer. I mean, I might just take that some bitch right down the whatever the hell it's Duval Street, or that's Key West, whatever street it is, and just parade that son of a bitch like Mardi Gras. Uh, but it's not vacation. I'm working here. So I got a really good, and where you get fortunate, you have to kind of make your own relationships. People are like, "Oh, you don't need a dispatcher. You can dispatch yourself." But then you really do you have to go to load boards, and you got to find loads, and then you got to call everybody, has loads that you could do, and see if they'll even consider you, depending on if you're under the 6 month thing, which most won't. And then you got to negotiate a rate. You're supposed to do all this while you're driving, I guess. I don't know. And then they all have paperwork they need. They need certificates of insurance, COIs. Yeah, no, it's just easier to use a dispatch, dispatching company or a broker. Um, but if you get a good dispatching company, and I have a great one, and she started her business this Chapel, phenomenal load that I missed, um, paying like 550 a mile, and that's some good money, man. But in general, I think the reason why a lot of guys and girls, possibly, I haven't seen too many girls, will hot shot is because I don't know, maybe they want to be a trucker. I don't really want, never really wanted to be a trucker, but I really didn't want to travel. To be honest with you, I'm pretty lazy. I like to pretty much just stay home and work on my computer stuff like I've been doing for ever. But it turns out that wasn't in the cards. I mean, I've only traveled a lot of my career every other week for 2 years when I went to Baltimore. Pretty much had it with travel, but now I'm not going to fly, which is really a pain in the ass anyway. But so is driving. So travel is really until the government finally comes loose out of those teleportation machines and the damn UFO technology. We're still down here burning fossil fuels so they can make $1 or $10. That's the one I heard today. I love that. I love that. Gas prices are going up because of the conflict over there between Israel and Iran. But we don't do any trade of oil with either one of them. So it's just another reason for Jesus, man. What the hell's I'm on a railroad track or something? Um, for them to raise prices and price calculate that. Don't you love that? I mean, some of y'all must be just fat like cats because I don't know. Somebody's still buying these houses in these gated neighborhoods they keep building. They're $350,000 to start. I don't think I've ever lived in a $350,000 house in my life. Never wanted to. I didn't want to be house poor with a big fat 5,000 a month payment because I like to party too much or ride my motorcycle. I used to. Now I'm a trucker though. It's bulletproof transport. I keep losing my GPS signal. You should check out my website because like everything I do on the web, it's pretty badass. It's a bulletproof transport.com. And it's pretty cool. Not really much to it, but you got to kind of have that shit so you can say display your MC and your DOT and stuff. But there's a lot. I was offered by two different companies, or one out of I think it was Oklahoma, and then one out of Texas. Even though I have the DOT and the MC, you can put up to like say I think 12 or 14 drivers on your number. So in other words, I can drive on their authority with my truck and my trailer. And if you're going to get beat up with a bunch of low fares for the first 6 months, you can you can actually you can. There's a fine line between double whatever something or another, but you're allowed to lease on with another motor carrier and still have your own active. I mean, because this is how you write the lease. The lease is per load, not a blanket. So that way I could still book my own loads if I wanted to, if they didn't have anything. But they do, and they would keep you busy. And if you're booking under $2 a load, and they're booking at $4 a mile per load or five, you're gonna make a lot more money. Yes, they take about 18 to 20%, but it's a good way to step up the first 6 months because they're gonna keep you busy, and you're still gonna make a whole lot more money than you would make trying to run these damn U-ship where the lowest bidder wins, like a reverse auction scenario. Um, so that's the way to do it. If you don't, and I considered it, but then what I did was I scoured Facebook. What you do is get into the groups for hot shotting and then read the comments, and it takes hours and hours to comb through those. But you'll see comments. People ask certain things, and the conversation will begin in the comments, and that's how I found the trucking, the booking, uh, whatever the hell they're called, dispatcher agency with Tia. It's called, I forget what it's called, off the top of my head at the moment, but if I think of it, it's a strange name. But anyway, but we really just got started because you gotta get all your ducks in a row. You gotta get. I got that other trailer, and I got really good. Got set up on that. That was a good deal, and I was fortunate. Unfortunately, the person who owned it had passed away. I kind of felt bad about that because she was using his Facebook, and he was selling everything. And I'm talking like all the straps, all the chains, all the couplers, the tarps, the bungees. Just the whole business package in one with that trailer. And I'm like, man, it makes me worry if you're getting out of the business. I've heard it's pretty lucrative and pays pretty damn good from what I see. And she's like, oh, this is like, Sylvia, I'm sorry. My husband, John, passed away like a year ago last fall. I'm like, oh, Jesus, man. I'm so sorry about that. But she looked like she was doing okay in her $80,000 Lexus with her friend, Chris. Anyway, she did hook me up, and I am thankful. I don't know. You know me, I'm the most patient driver in the world, so what I should be doing is when we would go to Tampa, I don't even drive south of Hudson. Jen drives because I have no patience for for stupid shit. But but here I am driving on the highway. Ever gonna do this? Um, I want a CB. I already have a handle, I guess, right? Tabasco. But how do you talk to these truckers now? This guy earlier, his right front tire was just a smoking and a roaring and a semi. I could have been like, "Waka taka Chucky, hey buddy, you're you're burning rubber and not in a good way." You know, that's the that's the like the smoking and bandit shit that we should be going on. Probably a trucker app for CB. Um, do they make beepers anymore? Because when I was in the HD big box hardware store, and my dispatcher couldn't get a hold of me to get me that $5.56 per mile fucking load. Because you get no reception in there. So I want to go back to an analog beeper. I don't even want the ones with the numbers on. I want the first version that just goes beep. And then that way I'll just give it to her the number, and it beeps. It's like the bat fella. I know she's got a load to go. Because it's up to you. You run your business. You don't work for them. They work for you, do, or you can pay a flat fee weekly. But which isn't all that bad either way. Either way, that, and then there's something called factoring, if you're not aware of that. So when you're hauling for transport companies, and it could be obviously a bunch of different ones who all have different terms. They all have different payment terms. Some take their time. They have some credit ratings, and you can spend all day long on load boards trying to figure this shit out, but you really can't, especially when you're new to it. So having somebody like her that already has the contacts with all the transport companies and knows the ones that will hire uh, within the first 6 months, because there's plenty of them out there. We'll see. If it didn't pan out, then I can always go lease on for the next few months. And again, they're not really ripping you off. You're helping them out, but they're way helping you out, more, because even at 20%, you're gonna make a whole lot more money on their MC that's 2.5 years old. And the guy I talked to out in Oklahoma, he had 6 trucks. He had 3 one-ton dualies, I think, that had um, the trailer was container trailer, and he said he was billing out about 10 grand a week, 8 to 10 grand a week on those 3. And then the other ones were, I think, 3/4 or 1 ton. I think he said he went to all 1 ton, but just on the flats, which is like a 40-foot flat, if you with a 1 ton, 40 to 44-foot gooseneck flat bed, billing out like 6 to 8 thousand a week on average. And so I started watching a few YouTube channels of some hotshot, well, one guy down in Miami anyway, and just watch his weeks, and he'll show you the week. And I think he picked up 3. He lives in Miami. He went from Miami to Illinois. I think that, yeah, he hauled 2 different loads on the same trailer, dropped, and then did 3 pickups and drop offs on the way back. And he was gone about, I think, 5 days. He billed like $9,300 gross. Now, if you figure, I get 10 miles to the gallon, so 10.3. So if you're going to do, whatever, 2,000 miles, a little over, whatever, I spent like 650. So if you bill out, 6 grand, you're going to spend 2 grand on fuel, and you're going to spend, $500 on the percentages. You're going to pay like a factoring company, and the factoring company is what they do is they invoice for you. So you sign up with them, they pay you immediately. They'll pay you that day or next day, minus 2% or whatever percentage is that you agree to. But then what they do is then they own that invoice, so they can wait the 29 days or 19 days or whatever it is. So it's kind of like your QuickBooks in real time, or your accounting, in real time, but they pay you, and then for that favor immediately, and for that favor, then they handle all the billing, and then they keep that 2% or whatever for, and it's worth it. I mean, again, can you do it? Absolutely, you could do it with the QuickBook app, or something like that. But if you can keep all that shit straight, I mean, it's supposed to keep it straight for you, and it would, man. A lot of times what happens is people do a business, whether it be a car, repair, or anything really, or plumbing, it could be anything. They're really good at that, and they really enjoy that, and then they don't end up getting to do that work because all they do is run a business. They become a business manager, managing their business, and that's not what they ever wanted to be. It may not even be what they're good at, Tim Queen, but God love you. But I used to say, this guy is a mechanic for most of us in our hometown, or a lot of us, a very dear friend. But he was like a schoolboy when it was time to bill. 'Cause mama put her foot down. Queenie said, "Bill." I come in at the shop. He's not out in the shop kicking it with the boys like he usually is. He's sitting at his desk, all sitting straight, and he got the smallest had the smallest desk in the world in there. I think they thought the smaller it was, the less shit he'd have to do in there as far as bookwork and stuff. And she'd have a stack of invoices and be like, "You need to make sure basically total all these out and whatever it's that and the other." And boy, it was like the look on his face, man. It was hilarious. But I mean, got to pay the bills, man. They want paid every month, man, whether you make it or not. So anyway, so we're gonna see how this goes, and I'm gonna share my stories as I go. The only problem I have, again, I didn't reseal the roof, the exterior roof, but I did seal the seams so it doesn't leak anymore. But I did peel the sealer off, and I hadn't got a chance to put it on because I thought I was going to let this sit for a while. But it's not leaking, so it's fine. The other thing is I put on stabilizers, bars, chains, and then the anti-sway bar. Well, the sway bar is like a stiff arm that goes from the trailer to your hitch, and when you back a trailer, if you're going to jackknife or do something, you're supposed to like relieve the pressure on that so it'll slide in or pull it off. And I guess who forgot? I already bent that shit out of it and broke it, backing it into a spot where I store it. And yeah, so now I got no anti-sway bar and I got no trailer brakes. I can't figure out the brakes. I know they work. I just can't get the color to work right. I just got to spend more time with it. But like I said, I switched over to the flatbed and I was spending all my time getting that thing ready. But so other than that, man, we're you know me, I like to do everything twice or three times. Try every which way but the right way first because it might be easier, but then just go ahead and do it the right way. But that's all I got. I think I got to get off the exit here, so I better jump off here for a minute and see what the hell's going on. Then I'm gonna get me a KOA. I ain't done that in about 1,000 years, just because I don't feel like farting around. I can do boondocking most WalMarts, but I don't think in New Orleans they let you. From what I was doing some reading earlier, and it makes sense. Otherwise, everybody would go down there for Mardi Gras and just camp in the fucking Walmart parking lot. But I have pulled in there when Hammer and I went to New Jersey to Myrtle Beach. um, yeah, we went to a Walmart, and hell, I even used their their hose in the garden center at 2 o'clock in the morning to fill up my water so we could have a shower. How about that, huh? Hey, if they ain't gonna give it to you, take it. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's what they do to us, right? So, y'all have a lovely Father's Day tomorrow, you daddies, some of you daddies, baby daddies, and keep it real.